Welcome to The Soft Life with me, Candy Washington, where we explore all things self-love, manifestations, and relationships with a cheeky dash of pop culture news. So be sure to subscribe, share, and join us on Patreon. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. So let's dive into today's Kiki, which is all about talking about the latest season of Real Housewives of New York, the reboot. Did we love it? Did we hate it? Was it a hit? Was it a miss? We're gonna get into it. So as we talk about it, put down your questions and your comments in the chat box down below, and let's dive right on in. Okay, so I'm going to first give my overall thoughts on the season itself, and then I'm going to break down my thoughts on each of the ladies, okay? So as you come in, hit the like button, subscribe, say hi, let's get it popping. All right. So my overall thoughts on the season itself was that it was boring. I thought the season was flat. I thought it was boring. But on the flip side of that, what I liked about it was that it was light enough to still be enjoyable. You know what I mean? Like, to me, the boring stuff was, why are you fighting over charcuterie boards and cheese? Like, doesn't make any sense. Why are you fighting over who has the most sponsored gifts and all of that stuff? Doesn't make any sense. I would have loved to see them dive deeper into exposing people, but not exposing in the dark way that sometimes the Housewives goes. Like, I'm not talking about, I want to expose you for fraud and your husband and everybody is gay and this person's a racist or a homophobe. I don't mean it that way. I mean, like, I would have loved it if they would have exposed that Ubah was lying about being single way earlier in the season and had that been something to talk about, or that Jenna Lyons was also lying about being single because she was in a relationship on the show. You know, I wanted to get more into like meatier stuff to have discussions about than like, oh, you said that I don't have food at my events and cheese. That was a little bit boring. That was a little bit flat. Nobody had a true storyline. Like, nothing really happened this season. I felt a lot of personalities were produced and they had fun, but they didn't really have fun. But again, it wasn't too dark either. And there was too many lies and too many people not showing their true selves. So overall, I would give the season maybe like a 6 or a 7. Put it in the chat box on a scale of 1 to 10. How would you rate the season? I thought it was a 6 or 7. I like that it wasn't too dark, but also there wasn't enough substance to it to make it good and enjoyable and a fun Kiki. Okay. So again, I liked it, but I wanted a little bit more. Now let's move in to each person. All right. Now this is Sai. This is kind of my thoughts on Sai. I thought she was a little bit mean-spirited. Like, I didn't understand why she felt the need to call everybody out and, you know, you're a liar and you're this, that, and the third. I thought she was extremely hypocritical when it came to Jessel. For example, Sai always talked about her family and her mother and their struggles and what happened. But when Jessel wanted to talk about her family and what happened to them, she was like, I want to know about you, and went all crazy and psycho. And it's like, a part of your story is your parents, which was a big part of Sai's story. It also came out that in the past, Sai had been evicted. I don't really care about that so much that came out. She was living in New York City. You know, the rent was like $3,000 a month or something crazy. I don't really care about that type of stuff. But what I did care about was how quickly Sai would turn on her friends. Like, she turned on Brynn, and then at the reunion, did you notice that she's turned on Erin? Because they are now no longer seen in a, quote, favorable light. Like, she was going after Erin at the reunion, again, over cheese and people being hungry. Like, it, again, made no sense. But I think the reason why she turned on Erin during the reunion is because she's trying to distance herself from Erin because they've gotten all of the backlash as the mean girls. But during the show, when her and Erin were in cahoots and they were making fun of everybody and they were trying to come after everybody, her and Erin were cool. So I don't like that about Sai. She's a bit of a flip-flopper. And then she went against Brynn when Brynn spilled the beans that Ubah was lying and she had a boyfriend the entire time. And it was the fact that Sai was the one who told. And this is where Ubah messed up. And I'm going to tell you exactly where Ubah messed up when we get to Ubah, but I want to make this point here. If Ubah wanted to continue lying about not being in a relationship, she should not have let Sai's husband, David, trigger her into telling the truth on the show and on camera. Because this is what happened. Ubah was lying the entire time about being single. And we'll get to that when we talk about Ubah particularly, right? But when at the game night or whatever it was, and I found it extremely inappropriate and very disrespectful when Sai's husband, David, was like, oh, Ubah, you're beautiful and you're accomplished. Why are you still single? Like, I personally thought that was hella inappropriate and wrong. But I think that Ubah felt that a little shamed by David, because it's a very shaming thing to say to a woman, oh, you're pretty and you're smart. Why don't you have a man? Basically saying, what is wrong with you? What's really wrong with you? Why you don't have a man? And I think that the fact that he was shaming her triggered Ubah into showing Sai, her boyfriend from Connecticut or whoever it was, on camera in front of everybody and all of that stuff, because she wanted to prove, oh, there's nothing wrong with me, right? And this is the thing, Ubah, if you wanted to lie about being single, you needed to carry the lie through. And that's where Ubah really messed up for me, but we'll get more into it then. I really didn't like Sai, thought she was mean-spirited. And it turns out, Sai, Miss Hypocrite, talking about, oh, I need people to tell the truth. Jessel, you're a liar. We need to know the truth. Why aren't you being honest? Turns out Sai pulled an Ashley Darby, but not even an Ashley Darby, because word on the street, according to Reddit and other places, word on the street is that Sai was the side chick to David, that he was married when Sai met him, and she was working at one of his businesses. She started having an affair with David, got knocked up and pregnant, and then that is why he ended up ultimately leaving his wife for her, because she got pregnant. But Sai wants to act like she has this like fairy tale stuff. She wasn't being honest about how she got her man, being the side chick, and got knocked up and messed up. Now, I'm not going to say she messed up his marriage, because he was the one who was married, but I didn't hear Sai talking about that. So she was the side chick. And now she's talking about everybody needs to be honest and and talking about and trying to act like Jessel's husband, Pavit, is a cheater because they're not having sex. I'm going to get into my conspiracy theory about what I think is actually going on with Jessel and Pavit when I get to Jessel. I don't think he's cheating. I think something else is going on, but I'll get into that conspiracy theory. But how is she talking about people being cheaters and being honest when Sai herself was a side chick? Okay. And you want to talk about proof? Let's get into some receipts. First up, let's get into this receipt. Okay. Real quick. So this is from Sai's YouTube channel from 3 years ago, 2020. And it says vlog, husband and wife life after marriage part 2. She was claiming on People magazine that she had been married for 14 years, since 2009. If you've been married since 2009, why are you doing vlogs in 2020 talking about life after marriage? I don't know anybody who's doing blogs about life after marriage when you've been married allegedly for that long. But the truth came out that they actually were married in 2017. That's why in 2020, she's doing vlogs about being newlyweds, because they actually only got married in 2017. Also, what's weird, how come her husband, David, isn't showing his face in the vlogs? That's also very suspect. But then you want to go on a reality TV show? So 3 years ago, he wasn't comfortable showing his face on your vlog, but now you're on a reality TV show. Very, very, very weird. And I have some more receipts on this. I'm going to cite my sources. This is from Reddit. So on the left-hand side, this is their marriage documentation that they were married in June of 2017. But in People magazine, she lied and said that they were married for 14 years. And saying that the secret to a great marriage is having sex and all of this stuff and how he's so great and he's a manager. And she lied and said that they got married in a, quote, private ceremony on June 16th, 2019, when the truth is they got married on June 15th, 2017, because she was the side chick who got knocked up and he was previously married. And then there were other interviews and articles that came out where Sai had slipped up. So before she was on the show, she was saying how it was so great how her children got to be at her wedding. None of her children are 14 years old. All of her children are like, her kids are like, what, 5 and 6, and the girl is maybe like 10 or something like that. So why is she lying? She's going after everybody, being like, you need to be honest. You need to tell the truth. You're lying, lying, lying. When it comes, truth be told, she was the biggest liar on the show. Biggest liar on the show. It was crazy. Absolutely crazy. And this is the thing. I don't personally care when you get married or don't get married. I don't care. But don't go after people like you are so high and mighty, like you have this perfect life or whatever, when the truth is your husband was cheating with his current wife with you, you got knocked up, and then you're lying to People magazine and to us saying you've been married for 14 years, when the truth is you were married in 2017. And then you're doing vlogs and stuff 3 years ago, talking about life after marriage, and your husband won't even show his face. So this to me shows why Sai was so hypocritical and so mean-spirited, was because she was the one who was hiding the most. And like, she says she has some digital empire. Sure, maybe everybody's an influencer these days. I get my own paid sponsorships. I'm not knocking it, but I'm not going out there and be like, I have a digital empire and I'm the influencer and all this stuff. So I don't know. To me, that just left a really bad taste in my mouth when it came to Sai. I found her to be very abrasive, very obnoxious, very temperamental, I guess she was deflecting and projecting a lot. This is the thing about Sai, she always seemed to be in a bad mood, and she always seemed to just complain. And that's not a fun person to be around, and that sure as hell isn't a fun person to watch. And then when all this stuff comes out about her, I'm like, okay, so that's why you're doing all of this. It's a lot. It's a lot. And the thing is, I like the fact that she did talk about her past and she was honest about what happened with her mother and her childhood and all of that stuff. And so, yes, I honor that. But at the same time, girl. So who knows what's going on with her? Now, let's move on to Brynn. And again, put your questions, put your comments down below in the comment section. I'm just going to go through each of the girls and we can talk about it. All right, now let's get to Miss Brynn. I like Brynn. I do think she's like a nice breath of fresh air. She's very fun. She's very light. But I have to admit, I feel like something is off with her. I feel like there's something fake going on. There's something not real. And what I mean by that is, she said, Bravo can't film at my apartment because the building management won't allow it. They don't want the camera crew there. But then it turns out that she had this huge photo shoot at her apartment. It was in some home decor magazine or some home decor website it was. So I was like, I'm confused. Is it this strict no filming, no publicity policy in your building, but yet you're allowed to do art, home decor spreads in magazines and blogs? Which is it? It seems like if you're not allowed to film, you wouldn't be allowed to do photo shoots there either. So that didn't really seem right to me. And then also when Brynn was talking about her career or her job, that also seemed really weird. She said she did like PR or marketing, but she had clients, but then she was in school to be a doctor, but then she dropped out of school after she failed a biology test or something and she had a panic attack. Like I didn't understand like what her job was. Like that to me was just weird. And if you have a creative job or you don't have a job, I don't care about that either. Just say what it really is. So a lot of that seemed really off to me. Like I wasn't really sure what was real about her. And the reason why I say this too is because I think her whole did see, money hungry, man hungry, persona was just an act. I feel like there's a much smarter, strategic, deeper person to Brynn, and I would have loved to seen that side of her because I think that's the real her. I think there's a much deeper personality, very smart, very strategic person to Brynn, and this whole, oh my God, I want to, freeze my eggs in Switzerland where rich people, keep their money. And, I want to date your dad. And when are you getting divorced so I can marry your husband and blah, blah, blah. I don't buy that. I think that is nothing but an act, and it got old and dry really quickly. And I would have preferred to see the real Brynn. I think she has a lot of depth to her that she didn't show. And I think she's just portraying this person, right? Definitely an act. I don't know if you guys saw her on Watch What Happens Live with Tyler Cameron, the guy from The Bachelor, who, by the way, yes, he is fine. He is really super fine. However, it was very cringe the way she was coming across. It was super, super cringe. I want to say I do like the fact that she shared about her past childhood trauma and what happened with her and everything. I do like the fact that she shared about growing up and her family and her mom and her grandmother and her siblings. I thought that was super relatable. I thought that was really great. But again, what's going on currently? Where do you really live? What really is your job? What is your true personality? And I didn't think that she was really friends with anyone. It didn't seem like it honestly didn't seem like the group really were friends. It seemed like they became friends for the show. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but overall, I would say I do like Brynn, and I would have loved to see the true Brynn because I think she has so much more substance than what she shows. I think the whole ditziness is a mask. I personally thought Brynn and Tyler's interaction was a little cringe, the way she was like touching his leg on the show and talking about BJ's. And I think he was going along with it. But I think if you energetically underneath felt what was going on, it's a little, I guess for me, the reason why I say this, not to go on a tangent or anything, and maybe I'm old school, maybe I'm a little more conservative, but it's always a little cringy for me when I see the woman pursuing the man in such an overt way. That to me is kind of where it became a little cringe. Wait, you guys, I have to take a phone call. 1 second. I will be right back. Like and share, and I'll be right. Sorry about that, you guys. Thank you for holding on. That was a very important call I was waiting for all day. All right, now let's get back into it. Oh, girl, let's get back into it. So that's why it felt cringe for me, because anytime, and again, maybe this is old fashioned. I don't want to be canceled for this. I just think that when the woman is overtly pursuing the man in a hypersexual way, it just doesn't sit well. It just seems a little cringe. I don't know. And the thing is, I don't think Brynn needs to do that. I think she's very intelligent. I think she's super beautiful. And I think she has a great personality. And I think if she would just land in that, it would be much easier to connect with her, if that makes sense. Okay. So that's kind of how I felt about Brynn. Also on the blogs, it came out that Brynn was also evicted in the past. I don't really care about that. You know, she was living in a studio in New York City. Who cares? I don't shame people for that. I don't shame people for like money problems and doing what you have to do to survive. So I don't care about that. All right. Now, let's look at Jessel. Dun, 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 dun. So this is how I feel about Jessel. I think the reason why her personality doesn't land for a lot of people is, I don't think it's so much her accent. I actually think that she was very nervous and very insecure, and she really wanted to be liked by the girls, which is why the personality didn't land and felt a little bit inauthentic. It didn't really feel authentic, right? You know, the girls are like, something's off with Jessel. And like in the beginning, you know, I was not a Jessel fan at all. Like, not at all. I think that honestly, Jessel should probably send flowers to Sai and Erin, because the fact that Sai and Erin were such mean girls to her gave us someone on the show to root for. Because prior to that, I wasn't really rooting for anybody on the show. I enjoyed the season. I did enjoy it. I thought it was lighthearted enough. I thought it was a good kiki. I did enjoy it. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but I did enjoy it. But I didn't have anybody that I was really rooting for. And so I think the reason why Jessel was able to become, you know, a fan favorite now, maybe not everybody's favorite, but if we were being honest, at this point, Jessel is a quote fan favorite given the situation, is because Sai and Erin went after her so hard. And anytime you have two people ganging up on somebody, being hypocritical, being mean, being bullies, you're gonna want to root for that person, even if prior to that, you may not have connected to that person, right? So they really gave her that, I want to root for them. And so now I like Jessel. You know, now I get her. And I think if you watch back even what she says, she's like, well, I was like nervous to talk to you, or like you guys are like intimidating. You know, like when she said Tribeca was up and coming, I don't think she was trying to be pretentious. I think she was nervous, insecure, intimidated by Erin, and trying to come off as like cool and aloof and all of this stuff. Very similar to Brynn in the way of her personality was more of a persona and a mask that she was playing. Whereas Brynn, I think her mask is like flirty, fun, blah, 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 but underneath is very calculated and very smart and very grounded. I think it's almost the opposite when it comes to Jessel. I think that her mask was that she was, you know, I come from Britain and blah, 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 and I have all of these things and I have it all together and da, 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 da. But underneath it, I think Jessel just really wanted to be liked. I think she wanted to be one of the girls. I think she wanted to be accepted. But because she was putting on this front, I think that was the disconnect with Jessel. But I think the more as the show went on, the more she kind of just came more into her own, the more she was just like, well, I don't need to force anybody to like me. I can just be myself more. Now you're coming for my husband. Now you're coming for my family. Now I'm going to stand up for myself a little bit more. That's where I think I started to like Jessel more, because that's when I was like, oh, Jessel, now you're actually being a real person. You know, now you're really showing who you are. Because I can relate to that. I think everybody can. You're going into a new group of women and on a show and you feel like they all have it together. They're all beautiful. They have all this money. They're all doing this, that, and a third. You want to feel accepted. You want to feel like you belong. And so I totally get that. Particularly as a woman going into a group of other women, it can be intimidating. It can be scary. It can be, you know, feeling like you're insecure and all of that stuff. That I totally get. So I think that as Jessel came more into herself, she became way more likable, way more likable. Okay. Now, this is my conspiracy theory when it comes to Jessel and Pavit. And I want to know what you guys think about this. Again, this is just a theory I have. I don't think that Pavit is, quote, cheating on Jessel. I think that Jessel and Pavit have an arrangement, an agreement, if you will. I think that they were best friends, like they said. They were best friends. They were roommates first. And I think that they succumbed to family pressure and society pressure that at a certain age, you needed to be married and you needed to have kids. And I think that they came together and said, hey, you're my best friend. You're my best friend. Let's just get married and do this. That's kind of where I think the sexless marriage comes in. That's kind of why I think the IVF came in. And there's no judgment around that. There might also be some type of sexuality questions around maybe Pavit, maybe Jessel, you know what I mean? And I don't have any judgment or disrespect around that at all. We know over here with the Candy Cans, we are inclusive. When we talk about sexuality, it's from a place of love and inclusion, not from any hate, okay? But that is what it's giving. I think it's giving two people who come from very traditional families, and they were probably getting a lot of pressure to settle down. And they said, hey, I like you, you like me, we're best friends, let's get married and do this. I don't think it was really rooted in a romantic I love you situation. And honestly, I'm not mad at that. Again, this is just my conspiracy theory. This is just what I picked up on. And I'm not mad at that. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, you know what, you're my best friend, you're my best friend. Let's just get married. Because even their chemistry and their banter, it's more like, and of course people are like, well, you should marry your best friend. You should marry your friend. Yes, duh, of course. But I'm saying the energy I get between the two of them are literally two best friends, not two people who are married as best friends, if that makes any sense. If that makes any sense. I think it was more of an arranged, understanding type of situation. Not that their family arranged them. I think the two of them came together to have an agreement. And again, where I think Jessel made a misstep and no fault of her own, I think that she was trying to connect with the ladies by being honest about how they hadn't had sex in like over a year or whatever the case was since the twins were born and all of this stuff. The problem is she shared something that was very sacred to people who were not safe. And what I mean by that is Sai and Erin and Brynn and all of them were not safe. And what I mean by safe is they did not have Jessel's best interest at heart. I don't think they actually had any interest in being friends with Jessel. I think they already knew she was the one they weren't going to get along with. And so when you take your vulnerability to someone who really doesn't care about you like that, who really isn't your friend like that, they are going to take any vulnerability you show, not as like, oh, this is something we can bond over, but they're going to take it as you showed me your weakness, and now I'm going to turn it around and turn it around against you. And that's exactly what those chicks did. They took something that was very sacred and vulnerable to her, because that's a thing to say, hey, you guys, you know what? Me and my husband haven't had sex for years. That's a huge vulnerability to share with people. And instead of saying, oh, you know what, girl, that's totally normal. What's going on? Let's talk about it. Sure, they were like, oh, here's some lingerie. Oh, book a steak. You got to get it in. But behind the scenes and in the confessionals, and when Jessel wasn't around, they were clowning her. They were laughing at her. They were saying he must be cheating. All of this stuff. They went above. They took it and they ran with it and they weaponized it against her, because at the end of the day, they were never for her. So you have to know, and I get it, they're quote coworkers, I get it, it's a show, But at the end of the day, you have to know who you can bring your vulnerability to and who you can't. And Jessel did not have the true foundation of a friendship with these women to bring that to them. Because there is a difference between lying about your marriage and keeping certain sacred things private within your marriage. You see what I'm saying? So I think that was really one of the missteps with that. But that's my conspiracy theory, and I love it for them. I think they really do have a love for each other. I do think that they are best friends. I do think that they're happy in their marriage because they created a marriage that worked for them, right? So I like Jessel. I like Pavit. I'm looking forward to seeing her another season when she comes more into her own confidence, when she becomes more of her own woman. And I have to agree with the advice that Brynn gave her. She said, you know what? When you stand up to these bullies, Sai and Erin, they will back down. And then Jessel was like, well, I don't want to like yell and do this and that. And I actually agree with what Brynn said. She says, you're equating standing up with yourself with being, quote, ratchet or whatever you want to call it. And again, those are two different things. You can stand up for yourself in a very respectful, classy way. Excuse me, miss, but you're not going to disrespect me. You're not going to talk about my family. You're sure as hell not going to disrespect my husband. There is a way to stand up for yourself that is classy and respectful. And I think the fact that, like I said before, I think Jessel was very insecure and she really wanted to be liked by the women. And I think that was a big reason why she never really stood up for herself. And that's why she kept getting tramped over. So, and then it took her time to come into her own. We see at the end, the finale, she starts to stand up for herself. And then obviously at the reunion, she starts to stand up for herself. But I wanted to see that in the season. You know what I'm saying? It's like when people are one way the entire season and then they become brand new at the reunion. I wanted to see her stick it to them in real time. Everybody comes from everybody at the reunion, but I want to see you do that in the actual show. So that's kind of where I landed on there. Now let's move to Ubah. All right. So when it comes to Ubah, this might be an unpopular opinion, and you guys can come for me or agree with me if you want, but I thought that Ubah was very erratic on the show. She was barely on the show. And I thought that she completely overreacted about the phone situation. Completely overreacted about the phone situation. I might be wrong in this, but I'm going to tell you why. The reason why I now think she completely overreacted with the phone situation and totally made a mountain out of a molehill was because at the time, I understood what she was saying. She was like, I'm a single woman and I travel and my family is far away. So we have this pact that I always have to text at night and text in the morning. And I didn't have my phone and she had my phone and blah, 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 all this stuff. But then it turned out that was a complete lie. Ubah, this entire time, was in a very happy, loving, and committed relationship with a really great man. He's attractive. He's some type of like banker guy. He has a crap ton of money. So that whole line of why she flipped out over the phone was a lie. Did you flip out over your phone because you didn't want people to see that you were in a relationship? And that's the real reason why you flipped out over the phone, because you didn't want people to see that you were in a relationship. And for the entire season, you were lying and playing in our faces? So that's why she flipped out over the phone, not because she's single and her family's waiting for her good night text message. She flipped out over her phone because it would have exposed that she was lying the entire season. Now, this is the thing. I like Ubah in general. I think she's beautiful. I think she's spunky. I think she's, she has a great business going for her. She's a model. I love all of that. Where she lost me, and very similar with Jenna Lyons, is There is a huge difference between I want to keep my relationship private and lying about your life. And I'm going to tell you why Ubah lost me with this. If she would have came on the show and said, I'm in a really happy relationship, my partner is very private, I chose to come on the show, he did not, so I'm keeping that aspect of my life private out of respect for him. I would have respected that. I would say that's not a problem. That's cool. Let's dip it and do it. Let's have a kiki. Ubah, you slay every day. Let's laugh and let's have fun. Where she lost me was you created your storyline as being this beautiful, amazing woman, single in the city. That was an integral part of your storyline. That's why Brynn called you out at the finale. When you came up to Brynn when she was blowing out her candles and she was saying that she was wishing for a husband, and Ubah went up to her and she goes, wish for two, one for me too. And Brynn knew you had been lying the entire season. That's the real reason why, because if you go back and watch the finale, that is the moment when she went up to Brynn and said, oh, ask for a husband for me too. You could see the look on Brynn's face, and her face was like, chick, if you don't stop lying and playing in my face. And then that was the moment when Brynn went over and said, what about Mr. Connecticut who lives in Connecticut? Because Brynn had enough. That is where Ubah lost me. You cannot create a storyline about being single when you are in a full-blown relationship with someone who is amazing and someone who is great. And that to me is problematic, because there's a difference between saying, I want to keep this part of my life private out of respect for my partner versus my storyline is being single in the city. That's where she lost me. That's where she lost me. To me, that's where you lost me. It's okay for, Tay says, and you're saying a boyfriend without a husband though. This is the thing. Okay, I want to get to these comments. Tay says her boyfriend didn't ask to be on the show. I agree with that. And you can say, my boyfriend is very private and doesn't want to be on the show, and I'm keeping that particular part of my life private. But don't say that you're single when you're not. And don't make being single your storyline when you're not. That's my point. There is a difference between saying he's not on the show versus I'm single. And shout out to Billy. Hey, Billy says a boyfriend is not a husband, though. I agree with that. I agree that a boyfriend is not a husband. But again, it goes to saying that you're single, acting like you're single when you're in a relationship. And then going up with Brynn and be like, oh, I want a husband too, all of that. It's the underneath lie. It's the underneath lie. Again, I think that if Ubah said, I'm in a relationship, he's really private, and we're respecting that privacy. And then she says, pray for a husband too, being like, oh, I want my boyfriend to propose. I want to be his wife. That I get. That I understand. But they're two different things. Do you know what I'm saying? They're two different things. And I agree with Chocolate Chunks. Yes, but she's on the show to represent her life and who she is. So how much is she allowed to hide? Right? How much is she allowed to hide? And I think you guys, everyone has made such great points, and it's such a good conversation around this. That's a great question. When you are on a reality show, how much do you get to hide and how much do you not when you're being paid to be you, when you're being paid to show your life? Foxy the Swede also says she does need to be more honest with her life as a housewife, but Jenna does the same with her new partner. Exactly. And we're going to get to Jenna. Exactly. And I want to know what you guys think. And, I said it before, I'll say it again. I kind of land on being honest, but creating a boundary is okay. You can say, yes, I'm in a relationship. My boyfriend, my partner, my husband, my wife, my girlfriend, whoever isn't signing up for the show. They have a very private life. So I'm going to keep that part private out of respect for them. But you need to be honest about your situation. You can't come on a reality show, claim that you're single the entire season, make that your entire storyline, and then lo and behold, that's a lie. That's where Ubah lost me. Other than that, I like her personality. She's fun, she's bubbly, she's a vibe. And that's when I realized that's why she freaked out over her phone. Not because she was single and because that's a lie. She wasn't single. She was in a very committed relationship saying, oh, I'm single and my family's waiting for my goodnight text. No, she was flipped out over her phone because she was in a full-blown relationship with someone and didn't want it to be exposed. Okay. Now let's move on. Now let's talk about Miss Erin. Okay. To me, Erin, all right, her big misstep was, let's just talk about the phone situation and the pool situation with Ubah first, since we were just talking about Ubah. And I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. I think Erin was really, and this is why I might be a little woo-woo, but I think energy and intentions are so important because it's always the energy behind what you do that people feel. Whatever the action is, whatever your words are, don't really mean anything. What really gives it meaning is your energy behind it, right? And this is where I think Erin messed up with Ubah. I think that Erin was pissed. I mean, pissed with a capital P-I-S-S-E-D when Ubah pushed her in the pool. And I'm going to be honest with you, I would have been pissed too. I would have felt some type of way. You push me in a pool, there's a problem. Don't push me in anybody's pool. You don't know my situation. Can I swim? Can I not swim? What's my hair like? Do I have my phone in my pocket? Don't push me in a pool. I don't think it's funny. I know it's a big trope. People pushing people in pool. Don't do it to me. I'm not the one. I think Erin was very, very pissed when Ubah pushed her in the pool, which is understandable. The problem is Erin acted like it didn't matter, that it was just some prank and that she was just going to do some prank to get Ubah back. And from there, her underlining energy was anger and that she was pissed. And that was very clear. And I think that, but Erin was like, but I'm cool. Again, faking the funk. She wanted to come across as a cool girl who didn't care about being pushed in the pool, and she's just going to prank her friend Ubah back. No, you were pissed and you wanted to get her back. That's why the energy between them was weird ever since that happened. That's why the energy behind Erin hiding the phone escalated as much as it did. Yes, because I think Ubah was worried that her secret that she was in a relationship was going to be exposed on her phone, and also that her boyfriend would not be able to get in touch with her. It had nothing to do with her family. It had nothing to be with being single, because as we know, that is not what that turned out to be a lie. It had to do with my man can't get in contact with me, and it had to do with I don't want to be exposed that I have a man. But then on the flip side with Erin, her energy for taking the phone was, I'm really pissed. Not haha, let's have a prank, haha, we're doing these fun gags with each other, ha ha ha. No, the energy was, chick, you pushed me in the pool and I'm pissed. Erin should have just said that. She should have just said, hey Ubah, you're my girl, I love you, but pushing me in the pool wasn't cool, and I feel some type of way about it. And then Ubah could have said, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I apologize. It was just a moment. I didn't mean to be disrespectful. I'm sorry. And it could have been squashed. But when you lie and say you're cool about something you're not cool about, the energy that you then bring to things that you do to get back at that person, you feel it. That's what I think really happened with that whole phone situation escalating. It had nothing, both of them energetically was coming from negative places. And that's why that situation blew up the way it did. That's why they kept fighting. That's why Erin was like, don't say my name, Ubah, because it wasn't about the phone. She was pissed she pushed her in the pool. That's why Ubah was all in Erin's face, snatching her sunglasses off her face, which I thought was inappropriate. Don't put your hands on me in any situation. I thought that was very, very inappropriate. Snatching somebody's glasses off their face, that's not okay. You know, I think Erin shouldn't have taken the phone, but also Ubah should not have snatched the glasses off of her face. That wasn't cool either, right? But I think the reason why such a trivial thing as that escalated was because both of them weren't being honest about how they felt and about what really was going on. You see what I'm saying? Okay. When it comes to Erin, I think this might be an unpopular opinion. I know it's going to be, but that's okay. That's why you guys come here, for conspiracy theories and unpopular opinions. I actually like Erin. I do. I actually really like her. There are things about her that I don't like. I don't like that she's a T supporter, you know, that she gave to the Make America Great Again fund. That aspect to me, I obviously do not like, and I do not agree with at all. I also don't like it when she is, you know, Sai's little beta bullying minion, when the two of them get together and all of that stuff. I think that if Erin did not align herself with Sai, I think she would have been more likable in general. Because I actually do like Erin. Might be unpopular opinion, but I do like her. I don't agree with her political views. I don't agree with her being a bully. And all of that stuff. And then the receipts for her being a T supporter. Here we go. These are the receipts. So this is saying that she donated year to date in 2020, $400 to the T campaign to Make America Great Again. I don't have a political show. I'm not about politics, but from my own moral compass and standpoint, Erin isn't it for me with this. Just from a personal moral standpoint, I'm not with the T supporters. I'm just not. That's a wrap. But overall, Erin, other than that, which are big things, I do kind of like her, but it is what it is. But I think her misstep was aligning with Sai, supporting T, and not being honest in the moment. Again, trying to be the cool girl and all that. You know what I'm saying? But I do like her. It's probably an unpopular opinion. All right, let's move on to Miss Jenna Lyons. Okay. Again, to me with Jenna, I might be the only person on the planet, but I don't get the hype around Jenna Lyons. I know she was at J. Crew for a while. I think she was on, was it Project Runway maybe or something like that? But I don't really get the hype about Jenna. I like the fact that she shared about her past, about her mom. I think a lot of people could relate to that in her childhood. I like that she opened up about her own, you know, battles with like her own self-image and, you know, her own, I guess, illnesses or diagnoses. I don't want to misspeak, but you know what she talked about in the show with like her eyelashes and her skin and her teeth. I loved that she was vulnerable and shared that because I think everybody can understand sometimes not feeling comfortable in your own skin. You know, we've all had those moments and times. With that being said, I do think that at times she weaponized those things in order to not have to be honest. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Like, and like her mother passing, which is really sad. And I do feel bad because she said, I think it was about 4 or 6 weeks before she started filming, her mother had passed away. And that's really tough. So my heart and condolences go out to her for that. However, like when Jessel had her fashion event, this is what I think really happened. Again, let me know what you guys think. So Jessel was like, oh, I'm having my fashion event. And truth be told, Jessel's event was fire. She had some really great people there from the industry. Jessel's event was fire. I think Jenna, and again, this is just my opinion, was jealous. I think that Jenna felt some type of way that Jessel was the one throwing the fashion event on the show and not her. Because if you go back and watch that scene, Jessel had some very big heavy hitter people in the fashion industry there. And Jenna is supposed to be the fashion industry person on the show. J. Crew, Project Runway, all of this stuff, right? She's supposed to be that fashion girl. But it turned out that Jessel was really the one who had the fashion event on the show, not Jenna. I think she felt some type of way about that, because if you watch back at that moment, Jenna goes, "Oh, I think I have like an event that night." And Jessel was like, "What event?" She's like, "Oh, I don't know. I think I just have like an event that night." And her event turned out to be doing holiday decorations at her house with like, it was either like her son or her friend or something like that. Like, girl, you could have done that anytime. You could have done that before the event or after the event. That was not a quote, an event. That was just you being shady and not wanting to go to Jessel's event because you knew it was going to be a fashion event that you weren't hosting. But then it gets justified with, "Oh, I get it. Jenna didn't want to come to my event because her mother passed away." What? What? How does that make any sense? How does that justify anything? Jenna said she had an event, and she made it sound like she had her own fashion soiree to go to. Not that she was popping popcorn with her friend at her house, lighting candles. You know what I'm saying? But then she justified it with, "Oh, she must have not been feeling good, or she just wanted to do something holiday-y because her mother had passed away." That doesn't make any type of sense to me. Jenna had no problem going to any other event she wanted to go to. It doesn't make any sense. And then when we get back, I feel like Jenna Lyons is somehow protected. You're gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm not. I think she's somehow protected. Like a lot of the women, like it was said, did not want to go after Jenna. Just like, and Brynn really called it. She's like, I get held to a certain standard, but Jenna gets away with everything. And even when Erin was backtracking with the whole comment about when Jenna says, "I don't want to fly," she didn't want to fly business class. I mean, coach. She only wanted to fly private or business or first or whatever. She didn't want to fly coach, which I think is the truth. Jenna Lyons didn't want to fly coach, and that's why she didn't fly with them. And she got her private jet, or she got or her first class ticket, which is fine, to the girls' trip. But then it turned out to must protect Jenna at all costs. No. She felt so insecure about her skin condition, and that's why she didn't fly with us. What? How does that make, what do you having a skin condition have to do with where the type of level you fly on? And then Erin was like, "I'm so sorry I said anything about her saying coach, and I didn't mean," like, it was like, why is Jenna Lyons so protected? And I also saw this when I was researching for today on Reddit. Every single comment about Jenna Lyons was positive and glowing. And anybody who said anything slightly negative about her got downvoted and got called out and all this stuff. It's very, very weird. There is something in the ethos, there is something in the ether that is like, protect Jenna Lyons at all costs. Where I'm like, why? Who the hell is Jenna Lyons? I'm confused. She didn't want to fly coach. Okay, just say that, which she did say when she was a little bit tipsy, but then everybody had to walk it back. She flaked on Jessel's event because she didn't want to go to it. None of that had anything to do with her mother passing away. And I'm not being insensitive. I understand that's a very hard thing, but I don't get how that means she doesn't want to go to Jessel's event. And again, I'm not being insensitive. I understand that she has, certain things about her body. At the end of the day, we all have things about our body. There are days where I don't feel sexy and hot. But what does that have to do with me flying coach or private? Not a damn thing. So that's when I'm like, huh. And that's what I mean by when I said at the very beginning of the episode about their storylines and the conversations going on. Why were there fights about you don't have food at your events, cheese platters, sponsored gifts and content, when there were much bigger issues at play? And Brynn, I'll give Brynn props. She was one of the first people to really bring that stuff up, right? Like, why are we protecting Jenna at all cost? Hey, Ubah, who is the man in Connecticut that you go and see? You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So I wanted them to talk more about that stuff. Get into the stuff about that. Call each other out. Not dark, not in like, I'm going to expose you and take you down, but like there were so many elephants in the room and so many things that didn't make sense and so many obvious lies. Why are we talking about cheese platters? I'm confused. Why are we talking about sponsored gifts and gift bags and sponsored posts? I'm confused. When there was a lot of stuff that was actually going on in the season that never even truly got addressed. And also, I'll give it up to Ubah for this. I should have took the screenshot of it, but I don't know if you guys know. Let me go back to Ubah. So Ubah is now in a feud with Tamra Judge, or she was feuding with Tamra. And Ubah made this same exact observation I'm making right now. She was saying how, because Ubah went really hard at the reunion. Yes, I think Ubah went hard at the reunion because she wants to save her apple and save her seat, but everybody does. Everybody goes hard at the reunion because they want to save their seat, right? Everybody does. So I'm not mad at her for that. But what she said to Tamra, and there's screenshots of their DMs that's going around. I should have got it for you guys. I'm sorry, but I'll tell you what it said. Ubah said the same thing. She said, I was tired of everybody talking about cheese plates when there were much deeper and bigger stuffs going on to talk about. And I agree. And that's why I felt the season was good, but flat. Because they could have went much deeper on a lot of stuff that was going on, but they kept certain things surface, and then they just attacked other people for things that they were doing themselves, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really need them to start showing up and showing out and talking about the real stuff going on. Like, how come none of the women were like, Sai, you keep telling all of us to tell the truth, but when did you get married? Was it 2009 or was it 2017? Oh, you're worried about Pavitt cheating? Weren't you the side chick? Wasn't your current husband married when you got pregnant by him? Why weren't they talking about that? Again, I don't want it to get dark or evil the way some of the other franchises have gotten, but I need it to get real. I needed to get real. Same thing like I was saying with like, Ubah and Jenna. Oh, let me go back to Jenna because I'm not done with her. Okay, so again, same issue I had with Ubah, because I'm gonna keep it fair across the board. I'm gonna be fair. Same issue I had with Ubah, I have with Jenna. Do not come on the show, claim to be single, and then have it turn out that you're in a relationship. And then claim, oh, I wanted to protect the privacy of the person I'm with. Then say that. Because the same thing applies with Ubah, it applies with Jenna. There's a difference between saying I'm seeing someone and I'm creating a healthy boundary to protect their privacy and lying for a storyline. Because both of them was making a part of their storyline was that they were single. And both of them were lying. Jenna was in a relationship. And I think with that person, they did end up breaking up. But now she's in a full-time relationship with her partner. And I just saw that she might be engaged. Jenna Lyons might be engaged now to her partner. But on the show, she was saying she was single and all this stuff. And then same thing with Ubah. She was saying she was single. Turned out she was in a loving, happy, healthy relationship with someone. Going to galas and events and all of this stuff. Quiet as it's kept. Because Andy even told it on Watch What Happens Live that, no, not on Watch What Happens Live, on, on Watch What Happens Live when Ubah was there the second time and at the reunion, Andy was like, oh, so your man is the guy who was at the premiere party. So how are you saying you're single, but yet your man is showing up at Bravo events? But the way they tried to keep it secret was the only person who was allowed to take photos of him at those events was the private photographer, not anybody else. And that is what my problem is. My problem is they actually had real issues going on with the show that they did not actually dive into. Do you see what I'm saying? They were deflecting and lying and denying and all of this stuff. I can respect parts of your privacy if you're honest with me. And that's why I enjoyed the season, but I expected something different and I wanted more, if that makes sense. Okay? All right, you guys, I'm going to drop the link in case anybody wants to come up and share and talk. And I just want to know what you guys think. Put it down below about the ladies. And then I'm going to take some of your candy cane questions and comments. Hi, Vaca. Vaca says hello. Hey, sweetheart. How are you? Hey, Foxy. Foxy says, I like the new reboot. It was fun to watch these ladies and their lives in New York. Yes. She says, hey there, Candy. Hey, Foxy. Barbara says, hi, everyone. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, Foxy. Hey, Candace says, boo, Candy, boo. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, Barbara. Candace says, that's better, Candy, LOL. Yes. Fox says, happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. What's up, Pink Dynamite? Says, hey, Candy in chat. How are you? Candace says, I love it. It was light and funny. Yes, I agree. I did love the lightness of it. Way better. Way better. Candace says, my fave is Brynn, Jessel, and Ubah. Tay Tay says, it was better than season 13. That's on facts. Barbara says a 6. I agree. I would give it a 6 out of 10 too. Pink says it was a good season to get to know them. Yes. Candor says an 8+ for me. Okay, Candor. All right. Hi, Candor. You want to share, sweetheart?
Yes. Seems so you've been policing the Big Apple. The Statue of Liberty is swam back to France. She can't take it. Is it okay to go on each person?
Yeah, you tell me who you want.
Jenna Lyons first.
Okay, Jenna. There you go. Sound off.
The thing with Jenna Lyons, I felt she was flaky and she wasn't given much. And then when I found out at the reunion why she was coming out with, and I felt like, why she keep on talking about her mother and saying these weird things? Because it just seemed all out of context. And then when she let slip, her mum died like a month before actually shooting the thing. There's no way in hell I could have done that, Candy. No way after losing a parent. So I give her a merit for that. But she is very closed off and she does need to show herself. The thing is regarding Jessel's party, I've got a theory. I think she might know people who's going to that party who do not get along with each other, and she doesn't want to be in their company. The devil used to work at J. Crew, and you know how fashion people get with each other, and she'll be just like, I'm not mixing with them. No way. And what you need to understand, Candy, is for some people, especially these pagans converted to Christians, they love decorating their Christmas trees. It's one event of the year. It's the only time of the year to decorate it. It's so important.
I mean, this is the thing. She just should have said, I don't want to come.
And the thing is, with her going on court, no offense, people, but when you're as rich as what she is, she doesn't want to get itchy skin from fleas on seats.
Again, just be honest. Because if this is a thing, I think that they were being very careful not to say something that could get them called out or canceled. Like, oh, if she would have said, I don't want to fly with you guys because I don't fly coach, I think the worry was that she would look pretentious, unrelatable, unlikable, that she was being, all of that stuff, stuck up and like elitist and everything. So I think that's why they were trying to backtrack it. But just be like, yeah, I don't want to fly coach. I worked very hard and I'm able to fly different now, and that's what I want to fly. But don't be like, oh, I didn't fly coach because I have I have skin discoloration and I didn't want to be in a bikini. Like, come on.
She didn't. She wasn't being nasty about it at all. She just says, I just don't want to do it. That's it, and that's fine. She's totally okay to say that. That's her entitlement, to do that, like anyone else. But it's the way Erin spun it, like to the other women, as though she was looking down at the other women, and she just wasn't at all.
Well, the thing is, I don't think it was that she was looking down at the other women,
But
and that's
Erin made
the
it
point
that
I'm
way.
making. No, wait, it wasn't that she was looking down at the other women. The reason why they backtracked that comment was because it seems like she was looking down at people who could not afford the private jets or first class.
But
That's why.
even
That's
when
why.
Jenna found out,
No,
she
but wait.
called
But
out
that's
Erin
why.
and she says, "I didn't say it like that or mean it that
Right.
way." And then
Right.
Erin backed up and said, "I know, I know."
Right, because they were trying to protect Jenna. Because this is the thing. The way it came across wasn't that she was looking down at the other women. The way it came across was that she was looking down at poor people. People who can't, the only people, like the people who could only afford Coach. That's why they were trying to backtrack that comment.
I personally feel like Erin was just there for wooden spoon at any chance she can get to spice it up, to
Mm-hmm.
make a scene in a drama. I think that was Erin's job, full stop, from the jump, to cause drama because she's so dry. Oh, can we? Oh, and the reason she's always in J. Crew, like trousers and stuff like that. It's like we get it, Jenny. You used to work for J. Crew. It's okay to show off your
Mm-hmm.
lashes now. That's your business. But the thing is, New York is who you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how you get your business. I don't think Jessel was that put out by it because what Jenna did later on for Jessel, which she didn't have to, was set up
Yeah.
a photo shoot, and she didn't have to do none of that. And she did make it look better for Jessel. And now that's what you call a friend coming in. And when she was
Mm-hmm.
getting into it, showing her what to do and things like that. And then Ubah came out and showing the model how to pose. That's what you call real friends, doing it for nothing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's I was liking to see that Jenny because she looked more on the ball work
Agreed.
wise, what she works at, and the same with Ubah, what she does is at work. The next person
Mhm.
who,
Oh, wait, Kinder. I want Riley to sound off, but stay on, okay?
yeah,
Okay. Hi, Riley. Welcome.
Hi, can you hear me? I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. Do you want to sound off real
Oh,
quick?
okay. Yeah, since we're on Jenna,
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll start by saying that I wanted to like her at first. I thought she was interesting. I actually like her aesthetic and everything. But I remember specifically there was this like account or something on X or Twitter, and they were like just based on stills, right? Before the season even started. They were like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, she's gonna be mother and she's gonna be this and that. So I was looking forward to that person, or rather, should I say, that character. But then
Mm-hmm.
her first scene, first episode, I'm like, okay, cool. She's kind of chill, whatever. We don't know. We don't know what she's gonna get into. So I gave her like the second episode as well. And then by like the middle of the season, I'm like, but this woman isn't giving. You know what I mean? Like I was
Yep.
expecting her to be this like um Miranda Priestley type person because I love fashion and stuff. So I kind of knew a little bit about her, but I didn't know anything like personal about her. So I was just like, well, if she was the assistant's assistant and she made her way to like CEO or whatever, she has to be
Mm-hmm.
cutthroat. She has to be ruthless. I was hoping she was gonna be like that. And
Me
when she
too.
wasn't, I checked out on her like throughout the middle of the season because I was like, you're not giving what I thought you were, so I'm just gonna move on to the next person. But I really did
Mm-hmm.
want to like her. There is
Same.
something inauthentic about her, and I think Ubah was right in saying that she's two different people. I can believe that because you
Agreed.
don't get to the top to where she was without like making some enemies along the way. I just don't buy that
Yep.
I get that she minimizes herself. I think a lot of people, especially women in corporate America or corporate in the corporate world, they will like diminish their own achievements and stuff. They want to appear likable. I get that. But there's
Mm-hmm.
something about her that's inauthentic that really bothered me because I really wanted to like her. But I just
Mm-hmm.
feel like if I'd rather she not be on this show next season because I feel like she's taking the place of someone who could actually give us something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So that's my take on her.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. And stay on. Stay on. Hey, Natasha, you want to share?
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, sorry. My mic was being weird. Wow. Like you guys made some basically all my points.
Is there anyone you want me to land on in general?
Hold on. Hello.
Yeah.
These headphones are so annoying. Okay.
Oh,
But with Jenna Lyons, like I agree. Like
no.
she clearly, it's almost like they're doing the thing where they're like, she's such a like technically a big name that they're willing to let her not share everything to be on the show. And that's like kind of annoying. And although I did like her, I feel like there is, y'all were making a point, like the fact that she isn't willing to share her romantic relationships. Like we really don't know her that well. And we just watched her whole season. And she kind of put on like that personality that like Ubah was pointing out, when we know for someone who is such a boss in the fashion field, and that field is very cutthroat, very. So this little personality, we know just out of like being sheer logic, can't exist in that world. You know, they're like, oh, sorry, and I get there's a side of her that could have felt a little insecure or whatever, but like so like she was playing it off a little too hard just so she could avoid the real stuff, and it was kind of obvious, and that's annoying. I actually, it was funny, is like I'm so mad. I was like, I meant to set a timer. I like took a disco nap, and it was one of those things where you took the gamble, and it was only supposed to be like 30 minutes, and accidentally was 2 hours, and I was like, oh my God.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
So I missed like the beginning part of it, but
all good. Okay.
But yeah,
Candor,
you can go back to Candor. Sorry.
No, you're good, sweetheart. Candor, you want to keep going?
Let's go to Sai.
Sai. Okay.
Yeah, I like this approach, how we go one by one with the characters. Yeah.
It's fun, right? Oh, but I did want to say, so Tay the Savior had a good insight. He said that Brynn is friends with Sheena and Ariana. So one thing I didn't say about Brynn, she used to live with Lisa Vanderpump, and she was going to be on Vanderpump Rules, but she opted not to be on there. So that's why she's close with Ariana and Sheena. Yeah. Okay, Candor, you go.
She was good friends with Vanderpump's daughter, Pandora.
And she's
she used to live, like actual
live.
Yeah, what's the reason?
That's how good Lisa is, taking people in.
Yeah.
She's just taking ponies, swans, Bryns.
Natasha's driving to Beverly Hills now. Hi, Lisa.
Right, Lisa, girl. Hey, girl.
Yep.
Just remember, Natasha, every Wednesday she does rose petals all the way around the house.
Yeah, that'll get a little annoying.
Yeah.
Anyways, Sai.
Yes.
The mad woman. It's always the small ones. Right. This woman. I'm trying my hardest.
Wait, I didn't know this fact at the end. The last bullet.
Oh, yeah. Did you miss? Hold on. For everybody who might be coming in late, I got the receipts. David and Sai were married in June of 2017, but she's lying and saying that they were married in 2009. So she's lying and said that they were married for 14 years, which isn't true. She, let me just say, allegedly was the side chick. So David was married when she was working at one of his businesses, and she was a side chick, and she got pregnant.
Why did she said 2009? Is that when they first met? And she's just pretending that's marriage? Maybe
she said 2009 because that's when they started having sex. I don't know. But they didn't get legal. This is the record right here of their marriage license.
Oh, no. This is not okay.
They weren't married in 2017. And then it came out because I don't know why people don't realize you have a digital footprint before you come on a show. And so I found this on her YouTube channel. So this is from only 3 years ago, and it's husband and wife life after marriage. If you're married for 14 years, you're not doing a vlog on life after marriage. You're only doing life after marriage if you just recently got married. And then how come in the vlog he doesn't even show his face? And I was watching it, and I'm like, why is your husband using an avatar? Doesn't even show his face in her vlogs, and this was in 2020. What is really going on? And she was a side chick who got knocked up. And then there was another interview came out where she was like, oh, I'm so happy that my children were able to be at our wedding. None of your children are 14. So you got married in 2017, which makes sense.
Oh, so yeah, her stories aren't adding up. That's
exactly
not okay.
Okay, but go Candor, sorry.
I'm going to hit with what Natasha said quickly about Jenna beforehand.
Okay.
Jenna has a reputation, and she's not going to show her real self because it's going to ruin her business.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference than what the other women are. This woman is well known, and there's no way in hell she is going to show one bit of a nasty side to her in case the business fails and people turn on her. This is like, it's too much for her to give up, you know what I mean? It's like a bread and butter. But anyways, back to Sai. And can we go back on that picture when she was on YouTube?
This one?
Yes.
I didn't know this about Sai.
Her husband looks very LA ready. Plastic.
Right? That avatar looks very LA.
The thing is with Sai, she is a total walking contradiction of what she says and what she does. I found her rude, obnoxious, a bully. And like, no offense to anyone with mental disorders, but I think Pivot may have hit the nail on the head, really. She was acting bipolar because one minute she was fine, the next minute she was kicking off, going crazy. The thing what I will say about Sai is when she is nice, she is lovely. Doing the thing with the sister regarding the mother, with Brynn with the chair with the grandmother, that was lovely. And I thought, oh, this is so nice. I like seeing this aside. And then she comes out batshit crazy, like everyone, like a little bloodhound. I'm just like, what the hell is this Chihuahua doing? I was just like, who peed her off? The way she spoke to Jessel on that boat was disgusting, shouting down at her. Jessel, the thing is with Jessel, she didn't have to shout to make a point. That's what you call being in control and acting like a lady to get a point across. You don't need to be screaming at someone. And that's what I think the problem is with Sai. She doesn't realise that. Like, be a lady and act like a lady. Would you like to be talked to like crap? No. So don't do it to others.
Apparently she has a blood sugar problem with food. Like, she needs to have lifesavers in her purse or something. Because, like,
I've never known a woman to be so hungry. Sai. The size of her and how hungry she is. Like, what the hell's going on?
It's like a problem. It's not normal. Like, I love to eat. I'm like annoying when I'm hungry too, but it's like it became her whole personality, and it was just like obnoxious.
Is she doing the Olympics and we don't know about it? She's training in between every scene where she needs food to energize.
Like the bowl of pasta, like marathon people.
The one thing I will say about her is that last scene where she was at Brynn's party. And she's kicking off at Brynn for saying that comment. But she takes no accountability. It was her what started the rumours.
Exactly. She was it's very classic. When you get called out for something, then you overreact to the person who is calling you out, or you over project to deflect from your own guilt.
She shot the messenger.
Oh no, don't look at me because I'm the one who spilled your secret. Look at Brynn. She's the bad person.
She shot the messenger, and it was at the messenger's birthday of all days to do that. I'm just like, Sai, read the room, pet. It's not about you. You're at someone's birthday party. Would you like to be talked to and shouted like that at your birthday? No. It's so bang out of order. And then Ubah, like, you can't take it out on Brynn for Sai telling Brynn.
Apparently, Ubah told them at a fashion event, though, according to Brynn.
The thing is, of course, Brynn's going to bring it to the table. It's part of the show. It's Sai who's at fault. And I'm not giving Brynn a pass. I'm not giving Brynn a pass.
To the wind.
But Brynn wouldn't have known about this if it wasn't for Sai with a big mouth, because she told Erin as well. So, like,
I mean, it
and then
brings
she
up what I
said
said before,
she was
like,
trying to, like, butter wouldn't melt. It's just a bit, it's just like, no,
Okay.
Sai, you've messed up.
Okay, I'm kind of done with Sai then after this whole revelation about her. Like, that is insane. That is so big.
Natasha, it's a double standard. She puts out what she doesn't do herself, and that makes her a hypocrite.
Like, I was on the fence, but the fence is really far away, and I'm on the other side now.
And I don't like the fact that they went after Jessel's husband. I'll get into Jessel when we get to Jessel, because there's some, like, I do think the marriage is working, and I think they're fine. It's not fair for her and Erin to start pulling them apart. Women do talk about sex with each other. It's what girls do, and Jessel was clearly looking for friendships. Sai was looking for content, and so was Erin as usual with the wooden spoon. Like,
agreed.
their marriages are perfect. They're not. And as being someone's side chick, one would quickly shut her mouth and keep low. You wouldn't you think?
Right? I wouldn't be criticizing anyone's marriage. In fact,
Exactly.
I wouldn't even say the word marriage.
Yeah.
I mean,
forgot
this
who said it.
Williams.
Yeah, one sec. I forgot. I'm so sorry. One of the candy canes made a really good analogy where they're like, oh, Sai is like the Lisa Rinna. And I agree. It's like, oh, I'm going to come at you. I'm going to come at you. I'm going to come at you. So you don't look at what's really going on with me.
It's like, own it. Why don't you
own it? Why are you a liar? You lie all the time, blah, 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 blah. And then turns out she's the biggest liar.
Sai needs to get on a happy side, because that's how Sai shines through more than being the bitch, basically. It's not doing her any justice, because it's planned how she's doing it. She's not good at doing it. And I don't know if the producers have pushed them towards, you've got to have someone bullying in, but Sai and that girl, and she's crap at doing it. It's made her look like a fool.
What do you think of Jessel?
Oh, no, Riley needs to say what she thinks of Sai.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, you guys basically said everything that I wanted to say regarding Sai. I will just say that I think she's also a little bit of Giselle from Potomac, who like, I guess she just wants, like, she has this mission to just talk about other people's marriages and kind of deflects from her own. And then with this bombshell dropping about her marriage, I guess it makes sense now. So it's giving very much Giselle and Robin and their plans from last season for me. And that's all I'll say about her, because the less said, the better.
It is deflecting from their own insecurities and making them into a story rather than shining a torch on their lives. And it is very, what the lady was saying, it is very Giselle and Robin Dixon acting. And it's like the Fox. It's like the Fox 4 as well. That's how they behave, because they don't. Remember Lisa Rinna? Don't talk about husbands.
I never talk about my husband.
Exactly.
That's what I mean with the show. I feel like Sai just represents the whole show for me. Although I did really enjoy it, I felt like there was something that, like, all of them weren't telling us.
Exactly. Like, I enjoyed the show too. I thought it was light and it was enjoyable to watch, but I found that there was just this substance piece missing.
I wasn't
like, we weren't really talking about what was really going on. Like, there was like an elephant in the room all the time that nobody was actually seeing.
I'll tell you the reason why.
I think it's because of
No, go ahead, Riley. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, I think it's because they all came across very self-produced. Kind of like they studied the show. They tried to look for the archetypes and see who they were gonna be. Because all of them just seem like, okay, like they're waiting for a cue to be like, okay, now I'm gonna say this, and then you're gonna react like that. So it's all very staged, I think. Maybe not in a way where they all came together and were like, we're gonna do this. I think within themselves, they all wanted to make a misrepresentation of who they really were, and that's it became apparent because they all were doing it. So we as an audience, we actually notice it.
Like, Brynn was clearly trying to be like Sonia.
The thing is, if Sai ends up saying this, Sai, I'm sorry, I'm not a good hater, but girl, when you go into season 2, be nicer. because that's where you shine most. You really do. You look 10 times better when you're showing your warm side than the nasty side, because it's not going to get you anywhere. And especially when you're an influencer, take
I
it.
can't look at her the same now.
But like I say with them, like she had no right talking about her husband, like insinuating. You know what I mean? They were insinuating it. They tried to be clever, saying they never said anything. It was implying that way, and everyone knew it. It was wrong. It was crass.
I also think there was the whole thing with that one girl that got kicked off because whenever Erin was in interviews, she stated that she was still friends with her to this day.
Yeah,
And I
and that was
feel
her.
like there was some kind of correlation because wasn't it that wasn't Brynn the catalyst of her leaving when she like asked to get set up or something? Or was it Ubah?
It was
Uh,
Brynn.
Uber. There was
It
three
was
women
Brynn.
what didn't want Jenna Lyons on. Now I'm
So
guessing the one what got kicked, Bryn, not Bryn. I mean
Brynn
Erin and Sai.
So I feel like there was some kind of weird tension there that they weren't allowed to talk to, and I think it did have to do with the girl that left.
Yeah,
I
because
think
Erin
for
was
maybe like the beginning, but not the entire season.
That's
Because
true.
the girl that left, she didn't film that much. She left
I know. I just
very,
think that was an
very early
elephant.
on.
That wasn't the whole elephant, but I think that
Yeah.
that was like clearly, you
they
know.
were all scared of Jenna Lyons because of who Jenna Lyons is,
Yeah.
and they wanted to promote their businesses. And with someone like Jenna Lyons there, she's top dog. She's basically king of the jungle, the lion, you know. the
Yeah.
she and that doesn't work well for them, especially when one's trying to do in like architect interior, the other one is an influencer herself. And I don't know what the Jewish woman is, but I think it was them three what wanted her out.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Is everyone finished on Sai?
Yeah, I'm done with her,
I'm
like
done with that.
physically, mentally,
Yeah, same.
I'm just
everything.
sighing. It's Sai.
Okay. Let's sound off on Jessel.
I love this woman. I loved her. Stop right now. Thank you very much. At the reunion. I'm going to say this about Jessel. She was looking for friends. She was very insecure. She didn't know where she was sitting in London. I agree with that. But the thing is, the way those women went after her was disgusting, and it really was. She didn't need that, and she didn't deserve it. As for the marriages, certain cultures, they normally go into arranged marriages. It's quite common over here in the UK when it comes to Indian people. Um, these some of them get arranged with people either from India or whoever in the UK, and it's normally done through the parents deciding.
That's
The,
true.
the thing is with Jessel is she picked the right one, her best friend, who she lived with and who she's grown with from being a teen, basically. And she picked the right guy. I do think they are in love. They look very happy together, even though Pivot makes us laugh because he's so awkward.
Mm-hmm.
She makes up for it with a la di da, and then the heat brings her back down to earth. They're a good combo. They're just
Yeah.
hilarious. Um, it's the kind. I'm sorry, but I'm going to put this out and say it's the kind of marriage I would actually like. You can see they care for each other. And that is
Mm-hmm.
the longest marriage what survives when you literally do care for each other and have each other's backs.
Yeah, you could tell they're a team.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love the fact that she put a part of New York on the map.
Oh God. When
Yeah.
she said that up and
I was
coming
like,
neighborhood,
again, I think she said that because, and again, that's why I think it doesn't land and why it's been misconstrued is because I think she was very nervous, insecure, and fronting. Like,
Look,
oh, it's so up
yeah,
and coming. And she was just
clearly.
like in her head and trying to front. And then now it's being like, oh my God, Jessel, whatever. I actually
look,
think it came from a
ladies.
place of her being very insecure and trying to front like she's so cool.
But do we
Luckily, it
think
doesn't
she
That's why
moved for the show? Do we think she moved to New York for the show? Because when she
What?
revealed that,
She had a
Yeah.
100% she moved to
I
New
know
York for the
she
show.
moved there before a year before the show started, didn't she? And she had a house.
No,
She had a
no,
house in
No.
LA.
She moved to New York for the show. So did the other girl, the girl who got fired. Both of them were in Dallas, and both of them,
Yes.
either one of them or both of them. I definitely know the other girl was actually cast to be on Real Housewives of Dallas, but then that ended up not coming back from pause. And then they decided to cast them on New York. Because I remember talking about this before, and I was like, okay, producers, you're not doing your job. Make it make sense because each city should have its own aesthetic and personality and energy and vibe. And Dallas and New York are very different aesthetics, energies, and
very.
vibe. So how are you casting someone for Dallas, but then casting them for New York?
But
So
then
both
again,
of them,
Dubai, you have one of the English housewives from London. She's over in Dubai now, and she was the anchor for Dubai. Even though she's not originally from there, that's where she is now.
But she lives there, and she's like,
you mean Karen
big-
Stanbury
she's lived there for
the Real
years.
Housewives of Dubai?
She's
Not-
lived there
not
for like
years.
years.
No, but
But
it's
yes,
also
she lived
very,
in
but it's also very, but it's
She
different
moved-
though because Karen Stanbury was on Ladies of London, which is not
Yes.
the Real Housewives. She was
But
on
And that
Ladies of
ended
London.
years ago when she moved to
Ended
Dubai.
years ago, and it's
It's
very, very
the same
different.
kind of
And
thing.
the difference is,
Women getting
but,
it each
but it's
other.
also very
No.
different because Dubai is known for being like a
And
melting
even admitted that she is the anchor for Dubai.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that.
London.
I don't
You're
either.
equating two separate things.
But let's get back to Jessel.
Yes.
The thing is with Jessel is she was insecure. I loved the fact that famous people came to that event and was shocking people who was at that event. That just showed them, don't mess with Jessel. She knows what she's doing. She knows people. And that puts their noses out of joint. Because I always felt like Jessel was the underdog in this, and they thought she didn't know like an elbow from an ear. And you know what I mean? It's just like they thought she was just some like British twit. You know what I mean? Like up her own ass, and she's more to that. I mean, I love the fact she goes on IG. And I think it's Bravo's people and everything like that when they're making fun of her. She's sitting there laughing her back off, taking the pee out of herself as well. When they're flying around on a helicopter with she says, that wasn't my helicopter. It was gold plated when I was a student living with the uncle. Because that's what Sai had a big problem with, was when she was living with her uncle, who's now dead. And I thought that was a bit rude what Sai went and said to her. Just because it's not the mother doesn't mean to say she was not close with the mother's brother. You know?
I don't
I
know,
was
but there's a
all
big
the-
difference between your
But the
mother.
thing is,
Your mother is going to have a different
her mother-
impact than
if I was
an
dead,
uncle.
who would be the next of kin? Probably the uncle. That's the closest thing there is to the mother.
You know?
And I'm close with my aunties and uncles. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
'Cause
I
there's
would
this
say.
thing.
Yeah, one sec. I would say to that, the problem is, yes, obviously your mother relationship is very different, but this is the issue. Sai took what Jessel said and made it very negative.
Yeah.
And that was not the spirit in which Jessel said it. So that's what the real problem is. Sai made it seem like she was trying to say, like, oh, my uncle is just like your mother and equate the two. What Jessel was trying to say was, oh, you shared with me about your mother having a problem with alcohol. I've experienced it with like my uncle, thinking this could be, again, Jessel thinking I'm trying to get into a common place with these women so we can talk and be friends. But
Yeah.
Jessel needs to realize Sai and Erin don't want to be friends with you. So
Yeah.
anything you say to them, they're going to turn it around. And that
They
was
don't
the
like you,
problem,
girl.
that Sai was trying to make what Jessel was saying mean spirited, but it wasn't. Her
Natasha,
her intention was trying to connect.
Natasha, you used to work in New York, didn't you?
Yeah.
What are people like in New York? Are they very self-centered and it's all about them, or do people actually help each other when they are in these type of businesses? Because the way Sai and Erin was coming off, it was like, I only want to bother with people who's higher up than us so I can get further places. And anyone who I think's below us, the Dead to Me.
Well, I wasn't like upper echelon of New York, so I feel like that's a whole other level, and it kind of goes along with most places in that area. But like, I know that I feel like it's not really a New York thing. I think it just has to do with like show business, TV. Yeah, like I don't know. Like I don't like the New York thing. Yeah, people do help you out. They're kind, but they're not nice. It's that whole thing. You know what I mean? But like this is different. This is something to do with like the show kind of personalities, the kind of like level of that they're in, or what they're shooting for, kind of climbing the ladder kind of feel. I don't know. And that's what it seems like. It seems like they didn't really take her seriously, and they didn't really understand her. But I feel like that kind of like discrepancy happens a lot with like different types of personalities. I feel like there's two types of people. There's people like Jessel that try to, in times when they know something that happened to someone, they try to share something of themselves. And then sometimes, and it's kind of like you run the risk of it looking like you're trying to make it about you instead of what your intentions were to show that kind of camaraderie with them, you know?
It just seems like they like treat each other like as a product, like, and not a worthy product, like they would be lower. And that's not cool.
They didn't take her seriously, you can tell.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you don't like
she
someone,
was annoying though.
The thing is, when you don't like someone, whatever they say, you're going to take it a certain type of way. Jessel couldn't win with them. Like, Jessel wasn't trying to make it about her at all. Like, she wasn't. She was trying to find a common ground to connect with them. But they just don't.
But she was also late. She was also like late and kind of like
I love that.
I would have left.
Not in New York. Oh my God.
Not me. You're 45 minutes late to a lunch you invite me to. I would have left 30 minutes. Like, no.
No. You're missing the point, ladies.
No.
Sai thought she was slick coming late 20 minutes, but Jessel topped her with 40 minutes. As I go on,
that's disrespectful. I don't like Sai. I don't like Sai, but I would be like Sai in that situation. I would feel some type of way.
Because the
thing is, if you invite me somewhere and you are 45 minutes late and you walk in easy breezy lemon squeezy, I have a problem with that.
And you're not even addressing the fact that you're late and not thanking me so much.
No.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, no. I'm going to have something to say.
You don't play my time like that. I would have felt
these are typical UK tactics. When someone tries to think that they own you, and it's like, no, honey, you're not owning me. I'll come when I want.
But showing up late like that only makes you look bad. Like,
I was laughing back off.
That's not a power move.
She probably did want to leave, to be honest, but maybe the show producers didn't let her.
Yeah, probably. But I would have felt some type of way too. You don't leave me waiting for 45 minutes when you invite me somewhere.
And then walk in with that aloof attitude, like, "Hi, girl." Like, oh no, there's steam coming out of my ears.
No, I would feel some type of way about that too. I don't even rock with Sai like that, because I do think Sai is very mean. I don't rock with her like that, but that is a level of disrespect. It is.
That's what I mean. Jessel kind of has like airheadish kind of like tendencies about her, where she doesn't get like social cues sometimes, and I think that just gives them so much ammunition to just like go at her. But then she has this other side where she's like, I'm secretly writing down what everyone does, and I feel like she is confusing in that way, where she comes across kind of like aloof and kind of like not really aware of like, you know, the little ins and outs, what's going on, and kind of like about herself. But then all of a sudden she like has this like vindictive side where she's secretly writing everything down, and now she's going for it in the reunion. It's almost like how Heather did all the times in how she was like da da da, and all of a sudden the reunion she was like gunning for Lisa or whatever, like there was no tomorrow.
I'm laughing my back off. I'll say two things before Riley says something, because she'll be like, "Can I just speak?"
Right.
She'll be like, it was like she was talking to Pavitt and she says the kids can learn Mandarin and everything like this, and he turns around and says, "Well, they can't even speak English yet." Like, why aren't
Right?
you
Let's
you
work on the ABCs first, girls. Gee, come on.
And then it was Pavic got his own back on Sai and Erin by actually documenting and putting it on IG exactly what he did over when he went on holiday, all the places he went to eat for the 24 hours. It was hilarious.
And I
These two,
think he is kind of dorky like that and thought that that was perfectly fine. He was like, yeah, I just want to go on a little mission. And I did earn points for my family because I got it for $900 and I'm going to get enough points that will save me like 10 cheese when I want to go on vacation with my family.
This is what British people laugh about because it's so sharp and dry and witty, and they actually showing what he's doing over in the place as well, making them two women look like idiots going over the top. It's hilarious.
He's like, here I am eating this.
It was cute.
Riley, your turn.
No, guys, I feel like I'm the Jenna of the panel tonight because I'm not really engaging. But
no, we're
what I
just
will
loud
say
mouths,
is,
girl. You're good.
no, from the beginning, I actually really liked Jessel because I'm South African, and I actually I what's the word I watch and like enjoy a lot of British content and stuff. So
Mm.
I always gravitate towards the British person because I like that humor and that dry wit, and so I really enjoyed it from the start. But I think the biggest thing was Erin and Sai are the two like out and out New York girls, right? So I feel like because Jason is the one from Dallas, they
Like
were a
born
bit
and raised, yeah.
yeah, they're born and raised, and they're the two people who had the biggest problem with her because I think Brynn is from the Midwest, Ubah she's
Illinois.
from yeah, and then Jenna I think is from LA. So the two of them had the biggest issue with Jessel. I think maybe that could have like contributed to them not liking her. I'm not
That
sure
is
what you guys
true.
think. I'd like to.
You know, I think that's a good point, but I think the reason why they didn't like her was because they knew she was the weakest link. They knew that they couldn't step to Brynn like that because Brynn would step back to them. They're scared of Jenna Lyons because she has all of her connections. Ubah is a bit of a wild card. I think they were scared to step to Ubah.
She'll go off
all the way the hell back, as we saw with the phone. I think that they knew that Jessel was the weakest link in that sense and that they could go after her.
Do you think because she's poised and she doesn't shout that she's weak? She's not. You're in more control. Sit.
No, I don't think it's because
I
of
feel
that.
like real New Yorkers don't like that kind of personality where she's like pretending to be like up and coming neighborhood and blah blah blah, and I'm trying to be this and I'm new to New York, but I'm pretending I'm not. Like they don't like that.
Natasha,
no, you know
the
what
thing is, because of Jessel now, the whole world knows it's an up-and-coming place. So really, Jessel has put that place on the map.
Tribeca was on the map.
You know about the Tribeca Film Festival before Jessel, right? Come on.
I love exactly.
No, but you know what I think it is? I don't think it's any of that. I think the reason why they think Jessel is the weakest link, not because she doesn't yell, but because Jessel actually wanted to be liked by them. And people who are bullies and people who know, they know who to target, people who want their validation. Where Ubah doesn't care if you like her. Jenna clearly doesn't care if you like her. Brynn doesn't care if you like her. But Jessel actually wanted their validation. And when someone is desperate for you to like them, that's when you become the weakest link in the target.
I'm going to let you into something,
But
ladies.
actually,
yeah, go Riley.
No, I just wanted to say or add that I think that maybe that's why Jessel got this fan base because a lot of people can probably see themselves in her, and
exactly.
they were in that position, right? Because I think I'm not on Twitter or like social media a lot, but I think that episode where Jessel and Sai had to sit down, I feel like that was the turning point for Jessel because that's when she got all the support. So I feel like when Sai was acting really like just mean and she was like in her prime level of meanness in that episode, even though Jessel was late, people just forgot all about that whole scenario and just focused on the fact that Jessel was crying and Sai was like, I don't care, I'm gonna leave. And I feel like that's where most of her support came from. So I feel like that's why she became the fan favorite. From that episode onwards, I started seeing a lot of Jessel stands, I guess you can say.
Yep.
I caught Jessel's shit about the up-and-coming place where yous are not getting it. It's not hitting with yous. She did it deliberately because Erin acts as though she's better than people, and she came in. She goes, "Oh, it's up and coming here, isn't it?" As though she's better than the players, and it's beneath her. Like Erin is. That's what we do. You downgrade someone in a place where they think it's great to make them feel small. It's what you do. It's dry wit.
I think she tried to do that, but it didn't land.
Yeah, I think it didn't land. I think she was just nervous because she even said it herself. She said that she was intimidated by Erin and that she was nervous. If you go back and watch, she says it herself. I think she was nervous and just was talking out of her butt for a better.
The way
she kind of admits that.
And it came out. Yeah, she admits that. I think she was just like talking. I think that she was very intimidated by the ladies and she really wanted to be liked. And I agree with what Riley said. I mean, I'll speak for myself. I personally can identify with that. You go into a group of like these women and you want to like feel like you belong. And I think she was just nervous and talked out of her face. And then now, but now since it become this whole meme about up and coming, she's trying to like own it. But the truth is, it's like, girl, you were just really nervous. You talked out of your face.
Just say that, yeah.
Wanted to like you.
The thing is, I've noticed with Erin, I'm not going to talk about Erin yet until we're on Erin, and then I'll talk.
Wait, I want to also ask about bullet point 2 before we move on to the next one.
Okay, talk about bullet point 2, and then we're going to move on to Erin.
Okay, what do you mean? So I never thought about that one, the last conspiracy theory, the sexuality part. Do you think, because like technically with IVF, you don't need to conceive naturally via intercourse.
You don't have to have sex for IVF, and they hadn't had sex for 2 years. You tell me what that means. You tell me what that means. You know what I'm saying?
There either is a sexuality issue or they agreed to be married, but they seek elsewhere.
Exactly. I think
I don't know.
when I talk about sexuality,
it is weird.
It's weird.
I'm not gonna lie. Like not 2 years.
Right. And again, for the candy canes who are just coming in or watch us later, anytime we talk about sexuality, I'm going to say this every time. It's from a place of love and inclusion, but we do talk about it. Even if it's speculation, it's from love and inclusion, not from a place of hate. Just want to get that out there. With that being said, I think there are a lot of people who are like, I want to have kids. I want to be quote accepted by my family or this traditional society. Doesn't make it right or wrong or whatever. You know, let's just do this together. Let's do life together, you know? Because even though it's 2023, it's still very, unfortunately, very dangerous to be honest about who you are, you know? So, or you may not be accepted. To me, the vibe I get between Jessel and Pavit is that they are truly best friends. I don't get a sexual vibe from them at all.
I do.
He was like, "What are you doing?" She was like,
"I mean, I'm just saying, you had IVF, which you do not have to have sex for." And Jessel comes out and says, and I'm not shaming anybody for not having sex or wanting to have sex, but that they haven't had sex in that long. Come on.
I don't
That's unnatural.
Right, ladies, you speculate unless they actually tell you. Yeah, they will have had sex. One of the members of my family, she had to have IVF because it was hard for her doing it the normal way, that sort of thing. And it does happen with women. The thing is, I've known couples where they never had sex for 5 years after having kids. I know women what were put off from ever wanting to have sex again after having a kid. So it's not uncommon, but like I said, the way they were acting on was a bit ridiculous when it came to it. It happens in couples. Not everyone is horny and over the top as what they are. You know what I mean? I mean, Erin gave me like nympho vibes, like always on it. Like I'm just like, ew, shut up, Erin.
And like what By Kyle said is like her whole IVF thing and how that's shamed in the Indian community. That could be, it could have put definitely stress and kind of like taken the sexiness out of the marriage for sure.
different culture, different rules, unless you know. And
True.
there's a lot of stuff, and there is a lot of things after you've had kids. You might get depression, and you might not want to do that. And you know what it is? It's pretty good to pivot, hanging out there for that length of time, not to have sex with his wife. You know what I mean? And he just cares about her, making sure that she's okay. That's what you call a real husband,
But
not like.
but when that
Erin's.
happens, that's usually because of like natural childbirth, not like because of like post traumatic or post whatever.
No,
You don't really get that
anyway.
when you get, unless, did she have the kid? Oh yeah, she did have the kid. But
yeah, I think she carried the kid. They put the embryo inside her. But to say what Ubah Kyle said, she said, I feel like the shame intern IVS could have played a huge role in that. We don't know whether there was support in going through that or just a secret. We do know it was just a secret because Jessel said on the show, again, if she's being honest, because there is a part of me that, and I'm trying to be sensitive around this. I'm not a mother. I don't ever plan to be, so I'm trying to be very sensitive around this IVF journey. I don't know if I quite believe Jessel when she said that her family did not know about IVF at that time. I think that maybe the family did not know about IVF when she was going through it, but I don't think the very first time she ever told her mother was
the cameras.
On camera. So I do, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do think she's telling the truth that when her and Pavitt went through IVF, they probably kept it a secret because there probably was shame around it. There was, that pressure, which is why, again, I think the reason why they got married was because they were best friends and they had the family pressure. They had the society pressure. You're a certain age. Why aren't you married? You're a certain age. Why don't you have kids? And I do think that they kind of just agreed to come together. That's just the vibe I get. Again, it's a conspiracy theory. But I don't think the first time she told her mother, who she had all this shame around, that you didn't even tell your mother when you were going through IVF, but the first time you tell your mother that you had IVF was on camera.
Yeah, I refuse to believe that.
Doesn't make any sense.
The way they speak with each other, though, her and Pavitt, I find it so endearing and cute. It's like sweet and innocent. And it's adorable to watch, and I'm going all gooey, and I don't do gooey, but it's so sweet and innocent, and it's rare to see a marriage like that where they look out actually for each other. And it's 2023, and it's good to see on TV that an actual marriage.
I mean, I agree they're cute and all, but I feel like I'm are we watching the same show?
I think you need to get my eyes. You'll see.
Maybe.
Honestly, I don't get the lovey-dovey.
Me neither.
I think they are more like two BFFs. Yeah. I don't get the lovey-dovey. I don't get the sexual chemistry. I don't get
that. Laughing me back off when she came out in a fair court with stockings on and all that, like the underwear on. It's just laughing me back off, and he's on the bed. It was just hilarious to me. They like a comedy couple.
It's a comedy because they're friends and they're joking.
It's amazing. But should we move? Has Riley got anything more to say? She wants to say about Jessel?
No, I'm good on her. We can move on.
Can we go to the wooden spoon woman?
Is that Erin?
That's the one.
Okay. You guys sound off.
That hard jaw face of a man pretend to be a woman.
Be careful. We're not going there. Be careful with that talk.
No, we're not going there, but it's there. She is hard faced as they come, and it's not cool. It's not fair what she does with the women, and it's not fair her playing victim afterwards when she starts all the stuff. She has a very short memory, and she can't admit when she's in the wrong. She did openly admit at the reunion that she was a shit stirrer. She openly admitted it at the reunion that she just stirred the pot. That's the first time she's ever done it. But playing the victim in the confessionals, I'm a victim. No, you're not, Erin. You're the one there with the wooden spoon. Yeah, and she is the wing person to Sai. She really is, and she is the parrot. Jessel got it right. This woman, she doesn't do what she says herself, and she's very, I don't know, she gives off this kind of bullying vibe, like harsh face, and you shouldn't be acting like that around women. It's quite intimidating, especially when they don't really know you as a person. With Brynn, she just calls her out, and just she doesn't care, and she does have a double standard when it comes to Jenna Lyons. She really does. Jenna can say what the hell she wants, and it's okay with her. But if any of the others said anything, she'd question it, like straight off the bat, and talk down to them.
She looks
And
nothing like her sister.
I don't like the way her marriage is with her husband. I thought it was quite appalling what he said. If they weren't having sex, he'd go elsewhere. That just goes to show exactly what he thinks of her. It's weird. And I think he's a
Yeah.
greased prick. I really do. I just don't like him. Your typical egotistical fella. And she is lousy when it comes to putting food out.
Yeah, and I agree with By Kyle. She goes, "Oh, Karen, she quite literally the type of person I actively try to avoid in life. Playing victim is very textbook for the nickname, so beautifully given."
Yeah,
Yeah,
it blatantly is. She's not a victim. She's the instigator. She is. And the thing is, I've tried my hardest to like her at some moments, but I just can't. It's like a brick wall for me. This is the type of woman I would avoid altogether. She does nothing for me personally. I'm not meaning sexual. I mean like as a friendship or to actually speak to. I would avoid this woman like the plague. I'd want nothing to do with her because God knows what she'd say behind your back or do. And that's all she's shown me on this show. Anyone else can butt in.
I think even I didn't like her at first, and then I heard about like her political views, which obviously also turned me off on her. But even taking that out of account, she's just not interesting to me. Like she tries to be the villain and the victim, which I don't like. She has all this talk, and then the minute something happens, she wants to cry. She wants to act, like a Karen. And the one thing that I think about her is, uh, the last few. I don't know if it's the last episode or maybe the penultimate episode. She was like, "I'm gonna drop kick Jessel or whatever." I'm like, "No, you're not. You're just gonna talk about it the whole time." Like, she thinks she's like that girl, but she really isn't. And that's the one thing that really annoys me about her. It's like I'm sure she went into the season thinking that she was gonna be the it girl or something, but she really isn't. And her husband is very weird, like you said. I don't like him at all. And the two of them are just like, I don't know, they just give me like a weird energy. Like if something were to come up about them, I would believe instantly. Whatever the rumor was, I would be like, yeah, that's probably true. So yeah, I really don't like her at all. Just her own, like her political views aside, I just don't like it.
Riley, the husband, gives me slime ball vibes, and it makes us shudder. I'm just like, get away from us, greasy. That's what he gives us.
I don't know. Someone else, like a different account on YouTube, like a reviewer was like, "Why is his hair always wet, or it looks like it's always wet?" So
it's not hard.
Riley, I think you bring up a really good point. I will say this: I did not like Abe and David the way that they bullied Pavitt, because when Pavitt came, I'm talking about the couples dinner they did. Like they were like kind of trolling him, like, "Oh, you're going to Vietnam, man." And Pavitt thought that he was just like talking to the guys. But prior to Pavitt and Jessel getting there, they all made they were snide stuff to like, "Oh, ask him about it." I thought that was really just lame, because one thing that's consistent when it comes to the Real Housewives, all of the boyfriends and the husbands primarily stick together and stay out of it. I thought it was a very just sneaky, just a horrible move for the guys to try and clown Pavitt that way. Similar to how
the husbands on this show, they kind of liked them. They like the attention. I feel like the husbands on this show, they're TV ready, in my opinion.
Which is funny because
like all of them.
Because David,
especially Sai's husband, yeah,
exactly, which is funny.
He's like sitting down right away, crossing his legs, ready to talk.
And remember how disrespectful he was to Ubah? If any man ever came up to me and was like, oh my God, Candy, you're so pretty, you're so smart, you're amazing. Why are you single? I would knock him out. Not in real life, but you know what I'm saying? If anybody said that to someone, it's so disrespectful. And I would be like, I'm actually not. I have a great partner, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just very, very disrespectful because the underlying current is what's wrong with you?
Candy, I've just got one for you.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. Why are
See,
you so
I don't know. Like, I feel like
Natasha? Candy,
I
why
don't
are
know
you
what
so
it was with this show.
attractive?
I felt like I
You're
think
not married.
I felt like I didn't get a really big read on anybody really. And I always am like
They were
really
all
like
faking it. They all worked. They
Energetically
all
aware.
came there. Just like I agree with Riley said earlier. They all came in pretending to be an archetype, pretending to be a character, pretending to be a certain persona that we never got to meet the real them.
that's what I mean. I don't feel like I got the real of any of them.
And there was real stuff going on, but yet they're talking about cheese boards and sponsored content.
I didn't mind Erin that much, to be honest. Like, I feel like, yeah, there were moments where she was kind of annoying, but like, I don't have any strong opinion of her because I don't feel like I know these women that well. Like, I don't have strong opinions really on anyone, to be honest, because I don't know them, like you said, that well. And as far as like her husband, he was like, I didn't really get that creeped out. I just thought he was just like, whatever. He was like, okay, he really likes her. He's into her. I've seen that before. So I wasn't like that kind of weirded out by it. I don't know.
But Candy, the question is,
Yeah.
why are you so beautiful, intelligent, and yet you're not married with children? It's just like, who says that to someone?
Who says that to someone, right? Could you imagine?
In the face, like his mother's saying, "You're pretty. Why aren't you taking this? There's something wrong with you."
So maybe she should sleep with her bosses like Sai, and she can take care of that.
But this is the thing, though. Ubah let David expose her. Because if Ubah had not taken the bait when David said that and showed the photo of the Connecticut guy to Sai to like prove her worthiness,
Yeah,
then she never would have
that's
got
what happened.
exposed. She never would have gotten exposed that she was lying the entire season.
Ubah was not smart. That's what I was wanting to say.
She got herself baited because I don't think David meant to bait her because I don't think David knew she was in a relationship. But like I'm saying, when you say to a woman, oh, you're amazing and you're beautiful, why are you single? The underlying question is, well, what's wrong with you that no one has chosen you? Mm-hmm. That's the underlying thing. And Ubah got triggered by that, like the majority of women would. That's not uncommon. I think 99% of women would be very offended and triggered by that comment. And she got triggered by that comment. And like any normal person, what comes up with like, well, no, I want to show you I'm good enough. I'm worthy. No, I am in a relationship. And that's when the moment she took out her phone where she lost her freaking mind.
She let down that boundary that she was holding close.
She let it down because she wanted to prove her worthiness. Mm-hmm. And that's why she showed it to Sai. And Sai cannot be trusted. Sai is nobody's friend. And if Ubah had not done that, then Sai would not have had that ammunition that she then took back to Erin and that she then took back to Brynn. And then that's when Ubah got exposed. Because I don't care if she can say her boyfriend is private. She lied. She made her entire storyline being single when she wasn't.
I'm going to put something out here.
See, that's what I mean. I don't know these women.
Yeah.
I'm going to put something out here. I'm putting me Jessica Fletcher typewriter down, and I'm going to start typing. Right? You see, Sai, influencer. Her job is to know everyone and everyone, so her business goes ahead. She will have a lot of people telling her stuff about these women. I think this was planned. I think she got her husband to say that crap to shock Ubah because it was so off guard for Ubah to turn around and show her that. I agree.
I think everything that came out of David's mouth, Sai 100% put him up to or knew that he was going to do.
Yes, because the way they treated Parvit and the way those wives talk to those husbands, them husbands are more like handbag to those women doing their bidding for them, and they
Mhm.
were. And
Mhm.
I put nothing past Sai because she's not a stupid person, and I really do think that. I mean, it could be a stretch. People could say just because I hate Sai. I don't hate Sai, but I
Mhm.
know she's not a stupid woman, and I know the husband can be just as devious as what she is because of the way they bully people.
Yep.
And they were with Pavitt. There was no need for it. A typical guy would turn around and say, "I'm not getting involved. It's women's business." You
Yeah.
know,
It was very messy. It was very messy and very nasty.
they
And the
were
way
thirsty for
and the way
content.
they did that to Pavitt, to me, I was like, you guys are slime balls. You could
Yeah,
tell Abe kind of felt on the fence about it, but David was all in, and then Abe was sort of like a follower. Very similar to Erin and Sai dynamic. Very similar, where Sai's the
Yeah, it
rumor.
kind of paralleled.
It paralleled 100%.
what does Riley think?
You guys, I'm doing a 5-minute countdown. So get your last
Yeah, I was
comment
just gonna add that again, I just think these husbands are messy and they took this opportunity to get their screen time in as well. So
Yeah,
I don't know if
Mhm.
that's gonna continue in the next season because I don't watch all the franchises, but from the ones that I watch, Potomac and Miami, I feel like those guys they hardly ever involved unless someone makes them part of the storyline. So it was weird
Exactly.
that
I love
they, especially
Miami.
David, he was very like into what was going on. He was giving advice, and at first when he was on Jessel's side of stuff, I was like, wow, this guy seems very insightful. But the
Mhm.
longer it went on, I was like, is he just looking for camera time? Is he just trying to be like, is this something that they devised,
That's
like a
so
type of
true.
plan
Mhm.
where Sai's the hard ass and he's the one that's like in touch with his
It's a
feelings,
good
and then
cop, bad
that's their
cop.
dynamic. Yeah, that's what I was
Mhm.
thinking later on as it progressed, as he kept on involving himself. And then,
I
like you
forgot. You're
say,
right. He did like he was supporting Jessel for a hot minute in the beginning. Oh, she just had twins. It's a lot, Sai. Calm down. Yeah, you're right.
Mhm.
Sorry.
yeah, yeah. So that's all
The,
I'll just add on that.
I was everyone finished with the wooden spoon.
Mhm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Brynn,
Okay.
Can you put on
Yes.
Britain's list
Yes.
bullet point?
Okay.
for me, for Brynn, she does have two personalities. She's not showing a real one, but that's what I find what's funny. She's playing the Jessica Rabbit game, and by God, she plays it well, and she looks it as well. This woman, to me, is drop dead gorgeous. I still would not turn for a woman, but this would be the closest thing. I think she is perfection. She is very intelligent, and that's what I think is more endearing to her. She plays the dumb blonde, but she is really clever behind it all, and it's shown and it's slipping in ways. And I like the way her mind works. She is a clever woman, and the thing is, she's playing hard to get it because she's thinking, "Is a guy worth it? My time?" And she's a mastermind. She really is. And we haven't seen the full Brynn yet. This is just
I just
season
don't
one.
trust her.
I
Yeah,
think very
there's
clever.
something going on there.
She's very clever and she knows exactly what she's doing.
I
And
agree with all the bullet points. Yeah.
Mhm.
I love it. There's something about it. It's just like, she turned my world upside down on New York. I love
Oh
it
my
every
God.
minute of fun. She's got more depth to her than what the rest of the women have. And it's shown. Bit by bit, you see glimpses of it coming through from the fake to the actual what you call it, and I think it's hilarious to watch. There's a lot going on with this one, and she is a good addition to this show.
I'm like
That's all.
concerned with this
With
Pickwick.
me,
That dress is about to show a nip slip.
She likes touching them too, Natasha.
True.
She
Sorry,
did not even
Riley.
use it.
Let Riley talk.
I was gonna say, I just think she's a bit dangerous because I think that the producers are in her ear, and I feel like
Yep.
she would do anything they tell her to do, and for that reason, I feel like she's a bit dangerous. Not in a bad way, just
Absolutely.
in a she's gonna stir up drama. She's gonna be good for the show. she's the only one I'm excited to see back, to be honest. Because I feel like she could, like you say, there's so much more to her, and she can reveal all of those different layers that she has. I do
Yeah.
appreciate the fact that she's this Elle Woods type of person, where you see her and the way she acts, you think, oh, she might not be smart, but she's actually probably the smartest of all of them. So I do
Mhm.
appreciate her, but if she continues to be like how she was in the last episode, kind of just stirring up drama, and it just seems so evident that a producer is telling her, we need a big scene to end the season off at your birthday party, so you've got to do anything you can to get something out of these women. I feel like if that continues, she might be dangerous, and she'll probably never be a friend to anyone, in the setting of the show, that is. But I think it's still interesting, so I'm excited to see her again.
Yeah.
And I just gotta add that my new crush, celebrity crush, is Tyler Cameron. Because I watched that show and the way
You can
he
share a baby,
manhandled
girl.
the way he manhandled our boy Tom and he picked him up out of that boat with one hand, I was like, oh my god. So she dropped that because like girl. But then I heard him talking about like he seems really down to earth, but they wouldn't get along. She's kind of like kind of a ladder climber or whatever you call it. I don't know. I just
Social
agree with
climber?
everything. Yeah. Well, no, kind of that, but like she always talks about marrying rich,
Yeah.
like her and Ubah, and it just gets exhausting. We're like, we get it. That's all you care about it, and it really shows.
And it's
I don't know,
it's
like,
a turn off for any quality man.
it really is.
That's why I thought it was cringe with her and Tyler, the way she kept. I think that, you know what I mean? When a woman is like overly, and I don't mean this to be like shaming or anything like that, but when it's like that over sexualization of yourself and being like, I just want the money and it's sex and BJs and all that stuff, it just doesn't come across well. And
I find
and
it
also because it doesn't seem like that's really the truth of her.
Mm-mm.
I find it very empowering. She's playing what the men do, and she's good at doing it.
And
And
where has it gotten her?
Yeah, but
it's
that's not real.
You know what
It's
I'm saying?
play.
It's not real. I think if she actually showed her personality, her real personality, I think she would actually connect more and land more.
Yeah.
Because this mask that she's wearing, I think does her a disservice.
right. You didn't pick the most flattering one. Where's the yellow and black one? What she was in going to the party, and the red one looking like Jessica Rabbit, girl. There's
The
to be shit.
Pilgrim.
Is everyone finished on Brynn? Because there's still Ubah to go.
Yes, let's do Uber real quick because I have to go, you guys.
Mhm.
Right. I'm going to say this. I like Ubah. I really do. That house event, there was more going on in that house event than what the cameras were showing. And I believe Ubah, when she says she wasn't too involved with this guy at the time, she is now. And I would not want to wreck a relationship if he's not happy being on camera. And I wouldn't want to say, oh, I'm in a relationship and then it was broken off, looking like I've got egg on my face. And I will say the thing is with Ubah, she calls people out. I thought that was hilarious what she did at the dinner, where she went round and started talking to the chef and taking a can. It's just like, you wouldn't expect that from a model. And to me, she seems down to earth. The thing...
Is she Somalian?
The difference what I see with you, Candy, is when she took the glasses off Erin, I know why she took the glasses off, because I've been disrespected by someone in a place and they just looking straight through you with glasses on, as though you're not.
But still, you can't make physical contact with somebody. Like you can't.
Not like that, and she's not going to take the shades off. And
yeah, you can't. Like if I'm talking to someone and they reach on my face and yank my glasses off, that's a problem.
Don't touch me.
You can't cross the physical line, and we've seen that happen too many times with the Housewives, where
what she said about
it escalates very quickly. I just think, and I do like Ubah. I don't like that she lied about a relationship, because I disagree with you. I think she was in a full-on healthy, happy relationship with this man when she started filming. That has come out evident, very clear. He was with her at Bravo and NBC events before they even started. Because Andy Coleman's like, oh, that's the guy you brought to the event. And she was like, yeah, they were in a full-on, full-fledged relationship.
This is why, like, I don't know these women. Like,
This is what I'm
and-
saying. She was in a full-on relationship with him.
wait, hold on. What's the
And-
Tamra Judge feud?
So Tamra basically said that Ubah was only was acting out at the reunion because she wanted to save her apple, and that it didn't, like, what she was saying didn't make sense, lashing out at all the women. And Ubah basically was just like, baby, the apple, I am the tree. But the thing is, the reason why I'm lashing out like this is because I'm tired of all the women. And I agree with Ubah. She said, I'm tired of all the women talking about cheese platters when there's real issues to talk about that nobody wants to talk about.
Yeah.
And so now I want to talk
So let's
about
start
it.
with
And
you,
I agree
Ubah.
with her. And exactly, let's start with you, Ubah. And I agree. I think all of the women, all of them had a lot of secrets and lies going on that they did not want to expose. I think all of them did.
I like the fact that she has her own business, slimming sauces and stuff like that, because that is needed really in the world today with all the chemicals going on.
And Chocolate Chunks makes a good point. He says, what about Ubah saying she slapped all of her men in the face in public?
Well, she could slap me on the ass in public if she likes.
See, but I don't like that because it's like we can't make violence okay for anybody. And if a man does it, it's wrong. And if a woman does it, it's wrong. If a guy said, I've slapped every woman I've ever been with in the face in public, could you imagine if a man said that? If a man was like, yeah, every woman I've ever been with, I slapped her in the face in public.
That's insane.
A lot of people.
It would be insane. It would be insane,
Is
right?
she Somalian? Because like when she was in that restaurant, how funny she was. She just reminded me of like my old boss who passed away, who was Somalian, and like how goofy she was with like in that restaurant.
She's Ayan's cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's great.
Whose cousin? Iman?
Ayan Chanel.
Yeah, Chanel Ayan.
Oh, Chanel.
Yeah. And I like Ubah, but we're just, we're talking about all of it. And this reminds me of, I was watching, do you guys watch Love is Blind? No, not Love is Blind, The Ultimatum. I was watching The Ultimatum. And for the first time I was watching it, I was watching this current season, and a very similar thing happened where the woman who was giving the guy the ultimatum got wasted. I mean, wasty face. And he was talking to another woman, which is a part of the show. You're supposed to do that. That's the game. And she got so mad, she mushed him dead in his face. And I was like, excuse me, how are you just going to still film this like nothing just happened? Like we didn't just watch domestic violence going on.
Yeah, it's not
again,
cool.
If it was reversed, if he was wasted and he mushed his girlfriend in her face, he should be arrested for that. And so should she.
It's a double standard, but they'll turn around and say she's weak.
We have to stop doing that. We have to stop saying, "Oh,
yeah,
it's funny
I agree."
when a woman puts her hand on a man." No, it's not. It's still abuse.
They always say that though. The women's always weaker, so they don't look at it because they don't think a woman's strong. A woman can be strong. By God,
a woman. The thing is not even about being strong or weak. No person has the right to put their hand on another person. Period.
That actually happened.
Man,
where
woman, trans, straight, gay, pink, purple, yellow, blue. Nobody has the right to put their hands on somebody else. Nobody.
Pink, purple, yellow, and blue.
Hey, you never know.
We getting into Chubby
land. You never know nowadays.
Chasing the rainbow over here. All right, you guys.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Right, okay. Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Riley. Thank you, Natasha.
Thanks, Candy. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody. This was so much fun. I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming up. Shout out to my beautiful panel. Thank you so much, Candor. Thank you, Riley. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, everybody in the chat box for holding me down. Bye, Kyle, Chocolate Chunks, Wesleyan. Who else is in here? Darren, Miss T, everybody, Foxy, Chocolate Chunks, Candor, everybody. Thank you so much. This was so much fun. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and check out everything linked down below. We have our merchandise, we have TikTok, we have Instagram, we have our membership. So go ahead and, shout out to Tay the Savior as well. Yay, everybody. Yay. Love you guys so much. Have so much fun, and I will see you next time. Bye. Welcome to The Soft Life with me, Candy Washington, where we explore all things self-love, manifestations, and relationships with a cheeky dash of pop culture news. So be sure to subscribe, share, and join us on Patreon.